So today we are going to be looking at the home lab. So I, at home, within my lab, have a Veeam Backup Replication server protecting some image-based backups, laptops, desktops, etc., as well as some NAS shares. But what I wanted to do was actually extend, and everything is being kept locally here on a scale-out backup repository, performance tier. I think we're keeping like maybe 7 days worth of backups. Obviously, following the 3-2-1 rule and having an offsite copy of that backup is very important for recovery. If anything was to happen to my house where everything is, then obviously I want a copy of that data. So what we want to do is I'm going to go extra cautious, and I'm going to send a copy of this data off to a Cloud Connect service provider over in Denmark, of all places, as well. So not only is it off-site, but it's also out of country, leveraging one of our VCSPs, as well as I also want to set up the copy mode functionality within that scale-out backup repository. So it's going to copy those backups into Microsoft Azure Blob Storage. I mean, it could be at AWS as well. I just chose Azure. I've been doing a lot with Azure recently. So first of all, we need to add in these repositories. So the first thing we want to do is, if we jump into backup infrastructure and we go down to, we can see this is what we've got on offer today as to where we can back up to. So we can see a few devices that are locally attached. Under service providers, this is where we go to add in our service provider. So if we then go and add in our service provider and we copy that in, now here, if you are paying a service, generally speaking, they're going to be adding this in, but this will allow them to then manage the context of your Veeam Backup Replication. We don't want that. We're just consuming the storage as somewhere to store our backups. So just the next. Then I've already added my credentials previously. Obviously, they would provide you with that, the username and the password. And hopefully this then comes up and says, these are the resources that you have available to you, i.e. this is the size of backup repository that you have within your service agreement with your VCSP. Okay, so now we can see that I've got a capacity of 10 terabytes. I don't need one acceleration. It's just a home lab and getting some data up there at that point. So we want to add that, and you'll then see that we've got this option now within the service providers tab. You can see that the newly added service provider is in there. And when this finishes, then we're just going to go and create. We can close that. That's just going to do a rescan. There's no backups in there. So now, obviously, I've got these backups that are, well, I've got these NAS backups or file backup jobs, as well as these Windows agents and Hyper-V backups. So what I actually want to do is I want to backup copy my Windows computer, so my agents for laptops and for desktops, and I want to copy that into that service provider. So just a case of giving it a name, a relevant name. I want to do it immediately, and I want to add in a backup copy job for those Windows computer backups. We'll give it a relevant name, and we're going to say periodic copy. So just periodically copies the latest available restore point only. So we get to choose what we send, and we can say when do you want that to happen and how frequent. Now I know that my backups, these agent backups, tend to finish at around 4 o'clock in the morning. So that should be enough time to start that upload and get that good backup into the service provider. So you can see there I've got 3 agents, 2 laptops, 1 desktop. Right, and now we should see Cloud Connect at VCSP and what do we want to keep. So restore points, let's keep the 7, but then let's also keep some weeklies on there as well, just because we've got the space to be able to do that. Yes, it actually is leaving, but we want to proceed anyway. That's the data sovereignty, so it knows that I haven't added a location to that Cloud Connect repository. We're going direct, not through a WAN accelerator, and the schedule, it can go anytime continuously. And we can enable that job once we're finished. So then down here, you're going to see that, and it's going to continue to run that. Now, what we're also going to do, just very quickly, is copy off my VMs as well. So they're also going to go to the same place. In fact, they can just be a mirror copy. I'm going to take these 2 backup jobs. We're just going to keep 7 days worth, but we're going to send it to that same place. Yes, sovereignty. Enable that job. Okay, so now we have those 2 jobs. So we're sending it. Not only do we have a short retention of these agents here locally in my house or in my garage, as it were, but we also now have a copy that's going to be streaming through into a Cloud Connect repository. Now, to go one step further, because it would be really bad if I started to lose any data, is I'm also going to add that Microsoft Azure Blob Storage account as well. So already within Azure, I've added a storage account, and then I've created a container within there, and we're going to shortly be able to see that. So to add it in there, so I've gone into the Azure portal, portal.azure.com. I've gone into there, and if you'd like to see that, let me know, because we can easily do another quick video on that. So we choose object storage. These are all of our options. So it could be AWS S3 if we wanted to. I'm going to use Azure Blob Storage. So at this point, I'm going to give it a name. Just so I know, just in case I have to demo anything in particular. We can see that I've already added the Veezilla home. So if we go and have a look at this. So when you add in your storage account, is called Veezilla home. So this has to be unique across all of Azure. With that, then you get a shared key. That shared key is then accessible and allows you to have access to that repository. So I've already added that. What region do we want that to be in? So Azure Global Standard. Now, this is the container that I already went in and I created within the Azure portal. Now, I don't have a folder within here, so I'm going to go and create a folder now called Veezilla, if I can spell, Veezilla Home Backups. We could limit it, but we're not going to get to any ridiculous size or cost, but obviously that's there to stop you exceeding a specific limit. So now we've just added that Azure Blob Storage. So what we do now is we jump into the Scale Out Backup repository and hit Properties. We have our performance tier where you see all of the local disks. We have our placement policy, and then we have the ability to do capacity tier. Now, up until now, this has been disabled. We don't keep anything in a capacity tier. So I want to extend, I want to copy, which is going to take an additional copy. So the backup copy is going to take an additional copy and it's going to send it to that service provider. This is also going to do very much the same. And this is going to go to Azure UK South as an option. We could also have move, which is going to reduce the amount of storage that you keep on premises. So based on retention, it might be that a backup job you want to keep 14 days, but actually we only want to keep anything. We only want to keep 7 days actually on premises for that fast recovery. Anything over that 7 days, we're going to drip into our Azure Blob Storage. So I only have one configured. So if we hit apply there, that's going to check, it's going to add that Azure Blob Storage element into. Okay, so this is important. So this scale out backup repository already contains some backup files. Obviously, I've been using this for a number of days now. Should we copy all existing backups or the latest backup chains only? So I'm going to say, let's say all of them. And that's then going to drip all of those into, upload all of those backup chains into object storage. So you saw there that it added into that scale out backup repository the Veezilla home, Azure Blob Storage. Now the other area that we can add in the ability to use object storage is with, we're just going to close that because that's going to take some time. The other option is in some of these file backups. So OneDrive is relatively important to me. It's where I keep all of my personal information as well as some work stuff that's not on the Veeam network. But under storage here, we could also choose to archive into object storage. So we can't use it here because it's part of the scale out backup repository. But what we could do is we could go in and we could create another folder and use that so that we're keeping a tier of X amount of days or months into that. And that's another area. I don't really need that in terms of backup copy jobs or anything along them lines. But it's an option if you so wish. With that, if there's any more questions in regards to Veeam Cloud Connect and how to leverage those as a service, anything around Azure Blob Storage, I think I've covered this a number of times in other videos. But yeah, let me know in the description or in the comments below. And yeah, hopefully that was useful. Thank you.